I'm going to give you the tip that you will certainly get a very, very good mark. And it does not matter if you're a very smart person or not. The trick is different. The trick is like unique. If you are a very smart person with very good ethics, but it does not ensure that you get a good mark. You have to understand the specific tricks and techniques, all right? So listen to me carefully. This is going to be starting right now. Assuming that I am starting to study ACCA BT, all right? The first thing that I'm going to do is that I will study first chapter of the BT, all right? And for example, this is the day one, and I've got 3 months for the exam. Remaining for the exam, assuming that I'm taking one paper at a time, and I study one paper one day, and the next day I teach that paper to my imaginary students. For example, the pillows, the chairs, the furniture is, for example, my students, and I have to teach to them. If you imagine, if you use the trick of visualization, you're going to be able to convince your mind that you have to learn excellently in order to not lose your ego or morality in front of your students. All right. So it is like when you're visualizing that you're teaching that thing, your mind will be forced to not be lazy, and that lazy part is going to be skipped. All right. So I'm going to repeat that. The first day, I'm going to read the first chapter, and tomorrow, if I do have time, I'm going to study it morning, and I'm going to teach to my students in evening. All right, and and I'm going to do that for the second paper. I'm going to study the second paper, and I'm going to try to understand everything, but at the first reading, you're not going to be able to understand it excellently, because learning process is very important. It's a learning curve, and whenever you become familiarized with studying and these kind of things about the professional exam, so you're going to get better in getting the concept, all right? So for the second chapter, I study the second chapter. I go to my students, which are furnitures, and I just teach them stuff very seriously. It's a serious thing. All right. Mind do not know the difference between an imagination and reality. If you just imagine things, it's real. All right. At least to your mind, it's real. You're going to feel the same like joy from that, the same seriousness from that. If you close your eyes and believe that there is an ice in your hand, you're going to feel cold. All right. So that is how mind works, and we have to take advantage of that as professional students. All right. So assuming that I have studied all of the chapters, as I have said, assuming that BT has got like 20 chapters, it has taken me 40 days or 20 days, depending on the schedule of your studying, to complete the paper. And when I have taught it to my students, I have understood it perfectly, and I have, for example, taught 7 chapters of BT to my students. Now I have to teach them all of the chapters from chapter 1 to chapter 7 as a recap in one session. And when I go to the 14th page chapter, for example, I have to one day dedicate for the recap from the first chapter to the 14th chapter. All right. So if you do that, I guarantee that you're going to print the book in your mind. It's going to be considered legal cheating. Like, you can actually open the book from your mind and go to that page and get the answer. It's very interesting. All right. So what about the books? Sorry, what about the question list? The questions. Okay, I'm gonna make it brief. For the questions, you go to the questions that are relevant to the 2019 and beyond. All right. Do not, for the BT, we do not have such thing because that is general information. It's not a technical thing, but you should focus on update questions and only tackle them. All right. Okay. For example, I assume presumably I'm studying BT and I'm trying to solve some question practice kit. What I'm going to do is that I will go to my kit, open my kit. After studying each chapter, I'm going to practice that kit. And if I have correctly taught my students, I guarantee you 100% at the first try or maybe second try, you're going to be able to guess the correct answer. All right, it's impossible to lose if you do your best. All right, it is a very good mindset to have. For example, it's the reality. The universe works in a very interesting way. We have got rules of the universe, and for example, laws of physics. If you drink water, you're not going to be thirsty. If you pour a cup of water in your body, you're going to be wet. It's impossible for you to not be wet. It's the same thing in here. If you study excellently, if you teach your students excellently with ethics and professionalism, it's impossible to not answer the questions, all right? So I'm going to do a recap for that. So I taught my students, I opened the first the questions that are related to the chapter 1. I attempted, I get a good score, and the questions that I got wrong, I just highlighted those questions, and I have done that to all of the 20 chapters. And it's not like I should not say to myself that, okay, I have done this chapter, sorry, I have done this practice kit and I've got a very good score. I'm not going to look at that. It's going to be a waste of time for me. No, do not do that. Even if you have got that perfectly, for the sake of like certainty, you have to redo it as if this is the first time that you're doing it. All right. So that was the trick for the how to get a good perfect mark for the ACCA BT, and we're going to have the last tip. So assume that your exam is approaching and you're panicking right now. You think that what I'm going to do in the day of exam and how I'm going to perform and this kind of stuff. But first, the mindset is very important. You have to understand that this is not the end of the world. You have got unlimited chances to attempt the exams. Nobody is going to kill you if you fail the exam, but I do not know about the personal thing about your life, but most probably nobody is going to do anything to you if you fail the exam, all right? So take it super simple, all right? Failing is fine. You learn something, all right? But if you correctly study, if you study things with a right method, it's impossible to fail. It's like saying that I have eaten food and I'm hungry. It's impossible. If you eat food, you're not going to be hungry. All right. If you study excellently in a very correct method, you're not going to be able to fail the exam. Okay. Assuming that you have studied excellently and this is the time, and naturally you're feeling a little bit stressed. What should you do is that before the exam, presuming that this is the exam day. Tomorrow is the exam day. You have to prepare everything before that. You have to prepare your calculator, your pencil, your docket. You have to print everything down. You have to prepare your national identity card and those kind of documentations. And do not study during the night of exam. Just forget about everything. Do not study during the night of exam. Just think about it. It's done. You have studied it all right? Get a good rest. And if you are a heavy sleeper, get the book the session of 1 p.m. All right. So if you get the 9 a.m., if you are a morning person, that is going to be fine. But I'm usually, like, currently, unfortunately, not a morning person for that reason. I get the 1 p.m. session to be well prepared and to not be panicking about whether I'm going to sleep or not and this kind of stuff. All right. So we have presumed that tomorrow is the exam and you have prepared everything. You have prepared your stuff, you have prepared your bag and this kind of stuff. Now you wake up and do not eat high carbohydrate and fiber food, for example, rice. Do not do that. Do not eat heavy food like, what is that? Like fries, and if you call it chips, and fast food and this kind of heavy meal, because mind is gonna work with a hungry stomach faster than a full stomach. All right, I have personal experience in that. It's absolutely true. I've eaten full food before my exam. I have failed my exam. Can you believe it? It's quite interesting. All right, and yeah. So what you have to do is that you have to eat some very energetic but low, very light food. For example, bananas with some nuts and some like this kind of thing. Mix it and just drink it to have sufficient sufficient energy during the exam. That is also very important. You should not go there hungry. All right. And the final tip that is very, very fundamentally important is that having a caffeine energy drink is working. All right, it's going to work. I have personal experience in that. And they say that Red Bull gives you wings, and that might be not true, but it will help you pass exam. And it's kind of when I remember the time when I was not drinking high caffeinated energy drink or some coffee, something like that. I was feeling dizzy. I was feeling like not concentrated during the exam, or feeling exhausted and overwhelmed. But when in my last exam, I've got a energy drink which was highly caffeinated, and I drank that. And during the exam, I wasn't actually seeing anything other than my screen. Whenever the person responsible was coming to give me the papers to sign and this kind of stuff, I couldn't see him. I was so focused. And I believe that it's the universe way of making the caffeine such a in such a way that will make you able to concentrate in some kind of tasks. And I'm going to give you the the method of drinking coffee. So an energy drink. You have to be very careful with that. So how can you drink that? Drink it not long before your exam, not before like close to your exam hour. If you drink it long before your exam, the effect of that caffeine is going to be experienced during the first time of your exam, first 30 minutes of your exam, and at the hour 1.5, hour 2, you're going to have a caffeine crush. And you cannot concentrate, you're going to tremble and this kind of stuff. Do not drink it long before. Do not drink it, for example, 2 hours or 3 hours or 1 hour. 1 hour is fine, all right? Before the exam hour, all right? And do not drink it very close to the exam. If you drink it very close to the exam, the effect is going to be experienced by you once the exam is finished. And it's not going to be actually something that you want, all right? So the best is that drink your thing, energy drink or caffeinated drink, cold coffee, something like that, 45 minutes before your exam. Drink it slowly. Do not drink it one at a time, because your body will not respond normally to that. Drink it slowly and slowly and slowly. Once you go to the exam, you're going to feel a different thing, all right? You're going to be a different human being, all right? So Thank you very much for watching this video. If you are not only an ACCA student and you are any student who is going to like seeking information from a person who has done it, and a person who is going to help you, available in here, please subscribe to the right side of YouTube. And we are going to the next videos talk about how to get a like 100 mark in the management accounting and other papers. Thank you very much once again. Have a nice time.